My millionaire daughter gave her mother-in-law a mansion. I only got a 30-minute massage voucher. I was folding laundry in the living room when I saw the video on Facebook. The sun was coming through the bay window just right, the way it always did on Sunday mornings in my little house on Maple Street. The house I bought with my late husband's life insurance policy after he died of a heart attack in the garage. I was folding a fitted sheet, which is impossible for a woman my age with arthritis in her thumbs. I had the television on low, some home renovation show where people argue about quartz countertops. My phone buzzed on the end table next to my coffee cup. The coffee was cold because I had poured it an hour ago and then forgot to drink it because I was thinking about my daughter, Lauren. Lauren called me every day at 4 o'clock. That was our time. She had been doing it since she moved out of state 10 years ago. At 4 o'clock, my phone would ring and it would be her face on the screen. And she would say, "Hi, Mom, what are you doing?" And I would say, "Just sitting here." And she would tell me about her day, about her husband, Mark, about my granddaughter, Lily, who was 7 years old with braids and a gap between her front teeth, about the new house they were building, the custom one, the one with the wine cellar and the infinity pool and the guest house, for when we want to get away, Mom. You can stay for as long as you want. That's what she said, as long as you want. I believed her. That was my first mistake. My phone buzzed again, and I looked down, and it was a video posted by my daughter-in-law, Jennifer, my son Michael's wife. Jennifer posted everything: what she ate for breakfast, her Peloton rides, her kids' soccer trophies. I usually scrolled past because Jennifer and I had a complicated relationship. She thought I was too involved. I thought she was too cold. But we were polite. We did Thanksgiving together. We exchanged gifts at Christmas. She sent me flowers on my birthday, the kind from the grocery store, the ones that die in 3 days. But this video had a thumbnail that made me stop. It was a giant living room, white sofas, floor-to-ceiling windows, a chandelier that looked like a cluster of diamonds falling from the ceiling. And standing in the middle of that living room was my daughter, Lauren. She was holding a giant key, one of those oversized gold keys like they give you at a ribbon-cutting ceremony. She was wearing cream-colored linen pants and a silk blouse, and her hair was pulled back in that sleek ponytail that probably cost $300 at a salon. She was smiling. No, she was beaming, radiant, the kind of smile she used to have when she was a little girl, and I would come home from my shift at the hospital, and she would run to the door and wrap her arms around my legs. I pressed play. The video had music underneath it, something soft and inspirational, piano music. There was text on the screen that said, "A special surprise for a very special woman." And then Lauren spoke. Her voice was warm and steady, the voice she used when she was hosting dinner parties or negotiating with contractors. She said, "My mom has always been my rock. She has given me everything, and today I wanted to give something back." My hand stopped folding the sheet. She said, "My husband Mark and I have been blessed beyond measure. We wanted to show our gratitude to the woman who raised me, the woman who sacrificed so much, my mother-in-law, my second mom, Diane. Diane, not me, Diane. My name is Carol. I am Lauren's mother. I am the one who woke up at 4 in the morning to pump breast milk so I could go back to work when Lauren was 6 weeks old. I am the one who cut the crusts off her peanut butter sandwiches until she was 12 years old because she said the crusts made her throat feel scratchy. I am the one who drove her to dance class every Tuesday and Thursday for 8 years. I sat cramped waiting room with the other mothers while the little girls in pink leotards practiced their pliés. I am the one who cried in the parking lot of her college dormitory after I helped her unpack her sheets and her shower caddy and her tiny refrigerator. I am the one who paid for that wedding, the one with 300 guests and a live band and a flower wall that cost more than my first car. I am the one who flew out for every single one of Lily's birthdays, even when my back was so bad I could barely stand up straight on the airplane. I am the one who watched Lily for 2 full weeks last summer while Lauren and Mark went to Italy. 2 weeks, 72 hours of childcare. I did not complain. I made pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse. I braided Lily's hair every morning. I read her the same bedtime story 12 times because she liked the way I did the voices. And Diane is Mark's mother. Diane lives in a retirement community in Scottsdale, Arizona. Diane plays doubles tennis every Tuesday. Diane has a personal trainer named Chad, who is 30 years old and has arms like tree trunks. Diane sends Lauren a gift basket once a year at Christmas, a fruit basket, the kind with the sticky dates and the hard pears that never ripen. Diane has never changed a diaper in her life.
Diane told me once at a family barbecue that she admired women who worked outside the home, but she personally thought children needed their mothers at home during the formative years. She said this while I was spooning potato salad onto paper plates for 30 people. She said this while my husband was still alive and standing at the grill flipping hamburgers with sweat dripping down his face. Diane got a mansion. In the video, the camera panned across the living room. The white sofas were upholstered in something that looked like cashmere.
The coffee table was a slab of polished wood the size of a surfboard. There was a grand piano in the corner, even though nobody in Mark's family plays piano. There was a kitchen with an island that could seat 12 people. There was a butler's pantry. There was a wine fridge that looked like a piece of modern art. And then the camera showed Diane. Diane was crying, actual tears. Her hands were pressed against her cheeks, and she was shaking her head like she couldn't believe it. She was wearing a tennis skirt and a white polo shirt. Her hair was blonde and highlighted and cut in that expensive bob that never moves, even in wind. She was probably 62, 63, younger than me. She had work done, you could tell. Her face was smooth like a plastic spoon. She hugged Lauren and she hugged Mark, and she said, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe this." And Lauren said, "Welcome home, Grandma, welcome home," to the guest house that Lauren had promised to me. I remembered that conversation so clearly, I could still feel the phone pressed against my ear. It was a Tuesday. I was standing in my kitchen, looking out the window at my azalea bushes, the pink ones that my husband planted the year before he died. Lauren said, "Mom, we're putting in a guest house. It's going to have its own kitchen and its own bathroom and a separate entrance. You can stay for as long as you want. You can retire there. You can sell your house and live with us. We want you close to Lily. We want you to be part of every day." I cried when she said that. I cried because I was 68 years old and I was tired. I was tired of mowing the lawn. I was tired of shoveling the walkway. I was tired of eating dinner alone in front of the television. I was tired of the silence. The silence in that house was so loud sometimes, I would turn on every light and every radio just to feel like someone else was there. I imagined myself in that guest house. I imagined sitting on a little patio drinking my morning coffee while Lily ran through the sprinklers. I imagined walking Lily to school. I imagined being part of something again. I told all my friends. I told Eileen at bingo. I told Margaret in my book club. I told my sister Ruth, who lives in Florida now and never calls unless she needs something. I said my baby girl is taking care of me. I raised her right. She's a good person. She is a good person. That's what I kept telling myself while I watched the video. She is a good person. There has to be an explanation. Maybe Diane is just staying there temporarily. Maybe Diane is sick. Maybe Diane needs medical care, and that's why she got the guest house. Maybe Lauren forgot that she promised it to me. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe she said you can stay for as long as you want, but she meant you can visit for a weekend as long as you want. Maybe I am being dramatic. Maybe I am just a jealous old woman who can't be happy for her daughter's success. But then the video showed the master bedroom. It was enormous. The bed was draped in white linen. There was a vase of fresh hydrangeas on the nightstand. There was a walk-in closet the size of my living room. And hanging in that closet were Diane's clothes. Dozens of tennis skirts, polo shirts, designer handbags lined up on a shelf like soldiers. Diane's things, not mine. Not my cardigan sweaters from LL Bean, not my sensible shoes, not my flannel nightgown that I have worn for 15 years because it is soft and it reminds me of my husband's flannel shirts. Then the video showed the backyard. The infinity pool looked out over a canyon. The water seemed to drop off the edge of the world. There was an outdoor kitchen with a pizza oven and a grill the size of a small car. There were lounge chairs with thick white cushions. And there was Diane again. Diane standing at the edge of the pool with a glass of champagne in her hand. Diane looking out at the canyon like she was a queen surveying her kingdom. Diane who never worked a day in her life. Diane who married a plastic surgeon and then divorced him and took half of everything. Diane who spent her 60s getting facials and playing tennis and posting inspirational quotes on Instagram about how gratitude attracts abundance. The video ended with a text screen that said,
"Thank you, Lauren and Mark. We love you." And then a little heart emoji. I sat there in my living room with the fitted sheet half folded in my lap.
The sun had moved. It was no longer coming through the bay window. The room felt cold. I looked around at my things. My brown plaid sofa with the stain on my armrest from where my husband used to rest his coffee cup. My laminate flooring that I could not afford to replace. My television from 2015 that still works, but the picture gets fuzzy sometimes. The stack of library books on the end table. The dish drying rack by the sink full of my one plate, one bowl, one cup. The silence. The phone rang. It was 4 o'clock. I looked at the screen. Lauren's face smiled at me. The same face from the video. The same smile. The same ponytail. But now the smile looked different. It looked like a mask. I answered the phone. "Hey, Mom." Her voice was bright, cheerful, like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just given my guest house to another woman on the internet for the whole world to see. "Hi, baby. What are you doing?" I paused. I looked at the fitted sheet. I looked at the cold coffee. I looked at the azalea bushes through the window, the pink ones, the ones my husband planted, the ones I could barely take care of anymore because my knees hurt, and bending over to pull weeds felt like being stabbed. I said, "I just saw your video." There was a silence, a small one, a half second, where Lauren's smile flickered. Then she said, "What video, Mom?" "The one Jennifer posted, the one where you gave Diane the guest house." Another silence, longer this time. I could hear her breathing. I could hear Mark's voice in the background, laughing about something, the sound of ice cubes in a glass. "Mom?" She said my name like she was explaining something to a child, a slow, patient explanation. "Mom, that video was from last week. We surprised Diane for her birthday. It was just a gesture. It's not like she's moving in. She's just going to stay there when she visits." "When she visits? How often does she visit?" "I don't know, Mom. Once a month? Maybe twice?" "Once or twice a month?" "Yeah, in the guest house that has its own kitchen and its own bathroom and a separate entrance. The one you told me I could retire in." "Mom?" Her voice changed. The patience was gone. Now she sounded defensive. She sounded like she did when she was a teenager, and I caught her sneaking out of the house. "Mom, you're reading too much into this. Diane is older. She needs a comfortable place to stay when she comes to see Lily." "Diane is younger than me." "That's not the point." "What is the point, Lauren?" "The point is that Mark's parents have done a lot for us. They helped us with the down payment on our first house. They paid for Lily's private school application fees. They've been very generous." "And what have I done?" The words came out before I could stop them. "What have I done for you, Lauren?" Silence. "I have raised your child for 2 weeks at a time. I have flown across the country with a bad back to watch her while you went to Italy and France and Mexico. I have never asked you for a dime."
I have never asked you for anything except to be part of your life. And you promised me that guest house. You said, "Sell your house and come live with us." You said you wanted me close. You said those words exactly. I remember them because I wrote them down in my journal that night. You said, "I want you close." Mom, don't mom me. I saw the video. I saw the way Diane looked in that closet. I saw her things. I saw her champagne. And I saw what you wrote on the screen. "Welcome home, Grandma." You're being dramatic. I'm being dramatic. I repeated the words. I let them sit in my mouth. I thought about all the times I had been called dramatic. By my husband when I asked him to see a doctor about his chest pain. By my son Michael when I said Jennifer was cold to me at Thanksgiving. By my sister Ruth when I said it hurt my feelings that she didn't invite me to her 60th birthday party. Dramatic. That's what they call a woman who speaks the truth, when the truth is uncomfortable. Lauren said, "I have to go. Lily has a piano lesson." "Since when does Lily take piano lessons?" "Since 3 months ago, Mom. I told you this. We had a whole conversation about it." "I don't remember that conversation." "Because you don't listen, Mom. You get stuck in your own head, and you don't hear what people are saying to you." That stopped me. It was such a cruel thing to say, but also it was the kind of cruel thing that comes from a place of real anger, real frustration, not a throwaway line. Something she had been holding on to, something she had been wanting to say for a long time. "I don't listen." "No, Mom, you don't. You hear what you want to hear. You remember what you want to remember.
And then you rewrite history to make yourself the victim. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My throat had closed up. The tears were coming, the hot ones, the ones that start behind your eyes and roll down your cheeks before you can stop them. Lauren said, "I love you, Mom, but I can't do this right now. I'll call you tomorrow." She hung up. I sat in the silence. The television was still on. The home renovation show had ended. Now there was a commercial for a reverse mortgage. Some man with white hair and a blue blazer talking about financial freedom. I turned it off. The silence rushed back in, louder than before. I thought about the journal entry. I had written it on a Tuesday, the same Tuesday she called me about the guest house. I had written in my messy cursive on the lined pages of a notebook I bought at CVS. Lauren called today. She wants me to live with her. She said I can sell the house. She wants me close. God is good. I found the notebook. It was in the drawer of my nightstand, next to a tube of hand cream and a pair of reading glasses. I opened it. The ink had faded a little, but the words were still there. She wants me close. I wasn't being dramatic. I wasn't rewriting history. She said the words. But somewhere between that Tuesday and the video on Facebook, something had changed. Something had shifted in my daughter's heart. She had decided that Diane was more deserving, that Diane's tennis skirts and Diane's highlighted hair and Diane's fruit baskets were worth more than my 40 years of sacrifice, that Diane's down payment help was more valuable than my 2 weeks of sleepless nights with a 7-year-old who had a nightmare every single night because she was scared of the dark, that Diane's private school application fees were more meaningful than the 8 years of dance class waiting rooms, the crustless sandwiches, the breast milk, the crying in the dormitory parking lot. I tried to call Michael. He didn't answer. He never answers. He texts back hours later with a single word or a thumbs-up emoji. He is his wife's husband now. He is his children's father. He stopped being my son the day he said I do. I don't blame him for that. That's how it works. You raise them and then they leave, and you become a secondary character in their lives, a supporting role. The mother, the grandmother, the one who shows up at birthdays with a wrapped gift and a Tupperware container of homemade cookies, the one who watches the kids so the parents can go to Italy. But I thought I meant more than that. I thought I was primary. I thought I was essential. I thought after my husband died that my children would pull me closer instead of pushing me away. I thought the guest house was proof that I was wrong about the loneliness, that I wouldn't have to spend my 70s eating dinner alone in front of the television, that I wouldn't have to shovel my own walkway until my back gave out, that someone would take care of me the way I took care of them. I was wrong. 2 weeks passed. Lauren did not call at 4 o'clock. She texted instead. Short messages with no punctuation. Lily had a good day at school. Mark is traveling for work. Busy week. Love you. The love you felt like an afterthought, like something she added because she knew she should, like the grocery store flowers Jennifer sent me on my birthday, the ones that die in 3 days. I stopped leaving the house. The azalea bushes needed weeding, but I didn't care. The lawn needed mowing, but the lawnmower was in the garage next to the spot where my husband died, and I couldn't bring myself to go in there. The refrigerator was empty, except for a carton of eggs and a jar of pickles, and half a loaf of bread that was starting to grow green spots. I ate toast for dinner. I watched television shows I didn't care about. I slept in my clothes. Then the letter came. It was from a law firm. The return address said Schwartz & Associates in Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale, where Diane lives, where Diane plays tennis with Chad, the personal trainer, where Diane has her highlighted hair and her smooth plastic spoon face. I opened the letter with hands that were shaking. The paper was thick, expensive, the kind of paper that costs money, the kind of paper that says, "We are serious and we have resources." The letter said I was being sued. No, that's not right. The letter said Lauren and Mark were being sued by Diane for breach of contract. Something about the guest house, something about a verbal agreement, something about Diane giving Lauren and Mark a substantial sum of money 2 years ago with the understanding that they would provide her with a permanent residence on their property. I read the sentence 3 times. Substantial sum of money.
What substantial sum of money? Lauren never told me about any substantial sum of money. Lauren told me they were building the custom house with Mark's bonus from work. Mark is some kind of regional sales director. He makes good money. Not substantial sum of money, but good money. Enough for the infinity pool and the wine fridge and the guest house. But a substantial sum of money from Diane? That was different. That meant Diane had paid for the guest house. Diane had bought her place in that house. Diane had invested in Lauren's future, and now she was calling in her investment. And Lauren had let her. Lauren had taken her money. Lauren had built her a mansion. Lauren had given her a closet full of tennis skirts and a champagne glass at the edge of an infinity pool. And me? I had given nothing. No substantial sum, no down payment, no private school fees. Just my time, my body, my sleep, my love.
My 40 years of being a mother, my crustless sandwiches, my 8 years of dance class waiting rooms, my crying in parking lots, my 2 weeks of pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse, my braids, my bedtime stories, my voice doing the voices. Those things were not substantial. Those things were worth a 30-minute massage. That's what I got for Christmas that year. A voucher, a 30-minute massage at a chain spa in the strip Millionaire that Malnert. It came in a little envelope tucked inside a Christmas card. The card said, "To Mom, love, Lauren, Mark, and Lily." The massage voucher had fine print. Expires in 6 months, not valid on weekends, gratuity not included. I put it in the drawer of my nightstand next to the journal. I never used it. I couldn't. The thought of someone touching me, a stranger, their hands on my old body, my soft arms, my sagging neck, the places where I had been cut open and stitched back together, a C-section, a hernia repair, a mole removal, the geography of a life lived in service to other people. I couldn't let a stranger see that. I couldn't let a stranger touch it. I called Lauren after I read the letter. I waited until 4 o'clock because habit is a cruel thing. She answered on the 3rd ring. Her voice was tired, defeated. Not the bright, cheerful voice from the video. A different voice, a voice that had been crying. "Mom, what's this about a lawsuit?" She sighed, the kind of sigh that comes from the bottom of a long exhale. The kind of sigh that says, "I am so tired of explaining myself." Diane is suing us. She says we promised her the guest house permanently in exchange for the money she gave us for the construction. She says we breached the contract when we told her she could only stay there for visits. Did you promise her that? Mark did, before we were married. He promised her that if she helped us buy the land, she could live with us when she got older. It was a verbal agreement, nothing in writing. But you built her a room. We built a guest house, Mom. We didn't build it for her specifically. We built it for guests. For guests named Diane. Mom, stop. Does she have a key? What? Does Diane have a key to the guest house? Yes. Then she lives there. No, Mom. She has a key for when she visits. How many times has she visited since the video? Silence. Lauren? 3 times. 3 times in 2 weeks? She's retired, Mom. She has nothing else to do. And what about me? When do I visit? When do I get a key? You can visit anytime you want, Mom. You know that. In the guest house? Of course in the guest house. But Diane's things are in the closet. We can move them. And where will Diane go? She can stay in a hotel. She will not stay in a hotel. She will take you to court. She will spend every dollar she has to make sure you honor your promise to her. And she has a lot of dollars. More than me? More than you? More than anyone in this family, except maybe the plastic surgeon she divorced. Mom, you're scaring me. You should be scared. You made a promise to that woman. You took her money. And then you made a promise to me. You told me I could sell my house and live in that guest house. You told me I could be close to Lily. You told me you wanted me to be part of every day. You said those words, Lauren. I have them written down. In my journal. On a Tuesday. You said, I want you close. I can't do this, Mom. Then hang up. That's what you're good at. Hanging up, walking away, choosing someone else over me. First it was Mark, then it was Lily. Then it was your career. Then it was your friends. Then it was Diane. Everyone comes before me. Everyone. That's not true. It is true. And I have tolerated it because I am your mother, and that's what mothers do. We tolerate, we forgive, we show up, we make the pancakes, we braid the hair, we read the stories, we do the voices. And then one day we are old and we are alone and we are folding a fitted sheet that doesn't fit our sofa anymore, and we see a video on Facebook of another woman standing in our guest house drinking our champagne. There was a long silence. So long I thought she had hung up, but I could hear her breathing. Shallow breaths, the kind you take when you are trying not to cry. Mom, I'm sorry. For what? For everything. For the video, for Diane, for not telling you about the money, for making you feel like you don't matter. You don't have to be sorry. You just have to choose me. Just once. Just choose me. I can't. Why not? Because if I choose you, then I have to admit that I made a mistake with Diane. And if I admit that, then Mark will be angry. And if Mark is angry, then our marriage will be hard. And if our marriage is hard, then Lily will feel it. And if Lily feels it, then she will be unhappy. And I cannot have Lily be unhappy. She is my daughter. She comes first. What about me? I am your mother. You come after Lily. I know that. Then why are we having this conversation? Because I thought I came after Lily, but before Diane. I thought I was second, not third, not fourth, not the one who gets a 30-minute massage voucher while Diane gets a mansion. Mom, you have to let this go. I don't have to let anything go. I am 71 years old. I have let go of my husband. I have let go of my youth. I have let go of my health. I have let go of my house. I have let go of my garden. I have let go of my friends. I have let go of my sister. I have let go of my son. And now you are asking me to let go of the last thing I have. The only thing I kept for myself. The hope that my daughter would take care of me when I could no longer take care of myself. I can take care of you. How? You live across the country. You have a husband who resents me. You have a mother-in-law who is suing you for a closet full of tennis skirts. You have a daughter who needs you to be present and engaged and available. You have no room for me. Not in your house. Not in your schedule. Not in your heart. Mom, that's not fair. Fair. I laughed. It was a hollow sound, a dry sound, the sound of a woman who has run out of tears. You want to talk about fair. Fair is Diane getting a mansion because she wrote a check. Fair is me getting a massage voucher because I changed your diapers. Fair is you posting a video on Facebook for the whole world to see that your mother-in-law is more important than your own mother. Fair is me sitting in this house alone eating toast for dinner while Diane drinks champagne at the edge of an infinity pool. That's fair, Lauren. That's exactly fair. That's what my life has earned. I have to go. Of course you do. I love you, Mom. I know you do. But love is not the same thing as choosing someone. You can love me and still leave me alone in this house. You can love me and still give my room to someone else. You can love me and still let me die alone. Love doesn't mean anything. It's just a word. It's just a feeling. Choosing someone is different. Choosing someone is action. And you have never chosen me. Not once. Not really. Mom. Goodbye, Lauren. I hung up. I took the phone and I put it in the drawer of the nightstand, next to the journal and the hand cream and the reading glasses and the massage voucher. I closed the drawer. I walked to the kitchen. I looked at the azalea bushes through the window, the pink ones. The weeds had taken over. You could barely see the flowers anymore. The green had swallowed the pink. That's what happens when you stop fighting. The world takes everything. The weeds, the silence, the years. I thought about selling the house. I thought about moving to a smaller place, an apartment, a senior community, somewhere with other old women who also got left behind. We could play bingo together. We could talk about our children who never call.
We could pretend that we chose this, that the loneliness was a lifestyle decision, that we preferred frozen dinners and television static, and the sound of our own breathing in the dark. But I won't sell the house. My husband planted those azalea bushes. He put them in the ground with his own hands. He was on his knees in the dirt, and I brought him a glass of iced tea, and he said, "These are going to be beautiful someday, Carol. You wait and see." He was right. They were beautiful. They are beautiful. Even with the weeds, even with the green swallowing the pink, they are still beautiful. I am still here. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't kill you. It just moves you to a smaller room. It just replaces your name with someone else's. It just takes the champagne and gives you the tap water. It just makes you fold a fitted sheet in a quiet living room while the sun moves across the floor and the phone does not ring at 4 o'clock anymore. But you are still here. You are still breathing. You are still folding. The last time I heard from Lauren was 3 months ago. She sent me a text, a picture of Lily on the first day of 2nd grade. Lily had new braids, new gap in her teeth.
She was wearing a purple backpack and holding a sign that said, "2nd grade, here I come." The text said, "Lily misses her grandma." I didn't respond. I wanted to. I wanted to say, "I miss her too." I wanted to say, "Come visit." I wanted to say, "I will make pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse. I will braid your hair. I will read you the bedtime story and do the voices. I will be your grandma, even if your mother won't let me be anything else." But I didn't, because I am tired, because my back hurts, because the azalea bushes need weeding and nobody is going to weed them except me, because the silence is still loud, but I am getting used to it, because I finally understand that choosing someone is different from loving someone, and I am choosing myself. For the first time in my life, I am choosing me. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like victory. It feels like giving up. It feels like closing a drawer on a massage voucher you will never use. It feels like watching the sun move across the floor and knowing that tomorrow it will move across the floor again, and you will be here again, and the phone will not ring at 4 o'clock again. But it also feels like breathing, like the first breath after a long cry, the one that comes out shaky and uneven, but it comes out. And you realize you are still alive, and that is something. Maybe not everything, but something. The fitted sheet is still in my lap. I should finish folding it.